Sir, V naught square by 2g.
V naught square by
2g.
2g.
Yes.
Okay. What was your approach?
Sir, I took some tension, the tension in the rigid rod is mg, sir.
Okay.
And then the second mass is doing circular motion in reference frame of smaller mass, the lower mass.
Okay. Okay.
So
Then you use an equation for circular.
yes, sir. Yes. Like equating forces on that body to mv naught square by.
Okay. Okay.
What's the answer, sir?
Yes.
What is the answer, sir?
You solved it. I'm getting answer. Any answer?
V naught square by 2g, sir.
Yes.
No. V naught square by 2g.
Yes, sir.
What was your method?
Sir, actually, it'll undergo like circular motion at that instant about the smaller mass, sir, because smaller mass has zero velocity at that point.
Okay.
So about smaller mass, I took the angular impulse. So mv naught into L should be equal to ml square into omega.
Okay.
And from there I found omega, sir. So I can find centripetal acceleration of that mass, sir. That I equate to tension plus mg.
Okay.
And tension should be equal to mg because this mass has to go up.
In this, there's one thing what I observed. Did you consider that the lower mass is going to have zero acceleration? Okay, I understand that it should have zero velocity, but what about acceleration? You're getting what I'm trying to ask?
Yes, sir, I'm getting.
Sir, excuse me, sir. Sir, can we equate the relative accelerations of both the block along the rod equal to mv naught square by v naught square by L, sir?
Relative acceleration. Yeah, relative acceleration should be the centripetal acceleration.
Yes, that we can equate to v square by L, no, sir.
That should be centripetal acceleration of one body to the other body.
Yes, sir. So each acceleration will be t by m.
T by m.
And net relative acceleration will be 2t by m, that we can equate to v naught square by L.
but you cannot say each acceleration is t by m with respect to ground, right? Because it is force mg also will act.
Yes.
Sir, can we take the impulse equation about center of mass, sir?
Yes, you can. Impulse equation for center of the mass also you can do. But you take you take about an axis passing through center of mass and fix to the ground.
Fixed to the ground. Yes, sir. So then we'll have an acceleration of small mass also upwards.
Yeah. But now it depends on the condition actually. Like you take a look at the given condition. The small mass should have an acceleration. If it has an acceleration, which way should it have? I was intending not the small mass. It was actually the lower mass.
Why should the lower mass have non-zero accelerations? Can't it be just
Okay, non-zero acceleration. Can you tell me why it should have non-zero acceleration? Any reason?
I'm saying it should have zero accelerations.
It should have zero acceleration. Okay.
Just the words of equilibrium.
Okay. Okay. Any reason for telling that it should have zero acceleration?
So otherwise we can consider the reference frame of the ground ball.
Reference frame of the block.
The ball on the ground.
Ground.
If we assume that
Okay.
it has like the force acting as t minus mg.
Okay.
So we can assume that acceleration is t by minus g, and in the pseudo force we can consider on the second point.
Okay.
Sir,
Yes,
but
so we'll get maximum value for zero acceleration. Yes.
sir, at this instant, like the mass on the bottom does not have any velocity, no, sir.
Yeah, initially it doesn't have any velocity. Yes.
And it has forces only in the like vertical direction.
Yes. Yes.
So the only possible acceleration here is centripetal, but since it has no velocity, then there is no centripetal acceleration. So hence it has to have zero acceleration, no, sir.
No, centripetal. When you talk about centripetal acceleration, obviously a question arises with respect to which center. Now the lower mass, you say that it should have centripetal acceleration. Okay, or even
If it has an acceleration,
yeah,
if it has an acceleration, it has to be centripetal.
Yeah, if it is centripetal acceleration, then where will you center? What would you consider the center about which you are going to consider centripetal acceleration?
Sir, since I'm getting zero centripetal acceleration, that's why that is only the center of rotation, no, sir.
No. My question is like, is it centripetal? Are you considering it centripetal acceleration with respect to some particular point of zero, or in general you are considering its acceleration in the vertical direction?
In general, it's acceleration in vertical direction, sir. Sir, I'm telling that if it has to have an acceleration, it can have it only in the vertical direction.
Right.
And that acceleration can only be centripetal acceleration about some fixed center. Let's assume for that instant.
Okay.
But this has no velocity, no, sir.
Okay.
Okay, but
There's
with
no
reference it can have.
Just because it doesn't have velocity, it can have some velocity relative to some point.
Yes.
Center of mass, or it can be lower mass, or any other point you want to. But it looks like velocity is zero for sure. Okay. Only thing is we have to check for acceleration, like how it should be. Should it be zero or not zero? That we have to. Okay. So
Yes.
one way of approaching here is like this. We will take two rods like this, two masses placed like this. Okay, and they are separated by a length L, each are having mass L, and this is given a velocity. Okay, so initial velocity of this lower mass is zero. Okay, it is not acquiring any velocity initially as soon as this was given velocity. Okay, so suppose the center of mass of the system is over here. I'm just using the concept of center of mass somewhere here, but we can do it even without doing that also. You can take this point as your reference also if you want to. Okay. So one thing we can definitely say is that angular velocity of this whole body will be clockwise, and it should be equal to v naught by L. Can we say this?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, because angular velocity is basically velocity in the direction perpendicular to the rod, divided by distance between the masses, because if you want to say angular velocity of this mass with respect to this mass, that should be V0 square. But angular velocity of this mass with respect to this mass is also the same as angular velocity of the whole rigid body. Okay, so we can therefore consider omega of this system of masses is V0 by R. Okay, now what I'll do is I'll suppose this is point A and this is B. Okay, then I can say acceleration of A should be equal to acceleration of A with respect to center plus acceleration of center. Okay. Now, for the time being, just for the time being, let us forget about the ground surface. Okay, let us forget that there is a ground surface. We'll bring that later into the picture. Okay, let us just imagine that this is a situation where we have just a rod placed in air and it has been given a velocity by hitting this particle. Okay, so if that is the case, then I can simply say acceleration of A should be sum of these two components. Now acceleration of C is only because of gravity, and that is G. Okay, so this will be minus G cap, acceleration of C. And acceleration of A with respect to C will be centripetal acceleration, because it is circular motion. So A has a centripetal acceleration with respect to C, and its centripetal acceleration should be omega square into L by 2, because distance is L. So we will get omega square into L by 2. So this is acceleration of A, okay, which is equal to omega we can take as V0 by L. So it is V0 square by L square into L by 2 and J. Okay, so I think we can cancel one well. It's just going to be V0 square by 2L. So this is acceleration of A in the vertical direction. Okay, so here now for this rod which is in air, acceleration of A would be upwards as soon as this particle is as soon as the upper mass is given a velocity V0. This point A can have an upward acceleration if this is positive, or it can have a downward acceleration if this is negative. Okay, now if there is a surface over here, and if this mass should be immediately able to lose contact with the surface and it should be go off the surface, then it cannot have acceleration downwards, because if this point A or if this mass A has a tendency to accelerate downwards, then the ground surface is going to prevent it from doing so, and it will exert a normal force. Okay, so if this has an acceleration downwards, then normal force will definitely come into the picture. So it must be either having an acceleration 0 or positive acceleration. Okay, so in order to lose contact or losing contact, we can say the condition should be this quantity V0 square by 2L minus G should be greater than 1. Okay, so that gives you like something like L is less than or equal to V0 square by 2. Okay, we are getting an inequality here like less than or equal to 2G, which means that even if less than, if you don't take the equality and take less than also, then also like point A will have an upward acceleration and it will leave the surface. Right? But even the point A here has 0 acceleration. Okay, so we can still say that it is about to leave the surface and it would just about leave the surface. Okay, so the condition is this length of the rod should not exceed this value. Maximum value would be there.
Sir, even if you are doing the way in which we were saying, sir, that is also correct, whether
that's also correct. I said there are like different approaches. This is one approach. That was what I was discussing about. Of course, like there is another way of approaching the problem also, like which you were talking about, like that considering in the reference frame of this particle A. Okay, so you're looking at things in the reference frame of A, and in the reference frame of A, B is undergoing circular motion.
Yes, sir.
But in that case, like you should take into account pseudo force also.
Pseudo force, yes.
Because like the general thing is like you don't know whether A will have upward acceleration, downward acceleration, or it will have 0 acceleration. So if you go with the general thought, then you would consider that it might be having some acceleration upwards. Okay, yes. And we expect that its acceleration should be greater than or equal to 0. So the condition here we are trying to use is acceleration of A should be greater than or equal to 0 in the vertical direction. Okay, of course, equal to 0 is the limiting case, which we got as V0 square by 2. But yes, the fact is that it should be greater than or equal to 0. So that you can like do by considering that this may be having some acceleration A and these two. Then you should take into account the pseudo force on this mass downwards. Because if this is your if you're considering A as a body and if you are fixing a reference frame with A, then the pseudo force should be acting on B downwards, and the pseudo force should be equal to M into E.
Yes.
So when you write the force equation for this mass, you will be taking mg and you take tension, and you will also take M into A, and you will equate that to mass into centripetal acceleration. And centripetal acceleration with respect to A should just be V naught square by L. Okay, so if you do that way also, you will get a condition for, you can use this inequality A is greater than or equal to 0.
Yes.
So that's it. That's the way I think you have solved it. Like you got
Yes,
same answer, V naught square by 2.
Sir, at the equal to 0 limiting case, can we assure that it will leave the surface? That means at A acceleration equal to
when L is equal to V naught square by 2.
yes, sir.
Yeah, if L is equal to V naught square by 2g, it will just be at the verge of leaving the surface. Okay, we would not say that it would be a perfect case of leaving the surface, but here, the question was find the maximum length possible length. So maximum possible length means you should find the limiting value only, no?
Yes, sir. Yes.
So there you will be finding this value.
Okay.
Rohit?
Sir, if we give some velocity at an angle, then what will happen? So like, should we just take the component
if you give some velocity
along an angle, like with an angle theta? With
at an angle, okay, you mean to say somewhere like this.
Yes, sir.
Right? If you give some velocity at an angle, what will happen is like even center of mass also will get some velocity in the upward direction.
Okay.
Right? Center of mass also will get some velocity. Then in that case, even this mass also will get some velocity in upward direction. Because initially this string is, this rod is vertical, no?
Yes.
So if you give it some velocity, say Vx, you resolve that V into two components. One is horizontal and one is vertical component. Now vertical component of velocity should be same for all the two masses.
Okay.
Vertical component of velocity should be same for both the masses, no? Because there cannot be relative motion along the rod.
Okay. Understood.
Right? So that means A will have a vertical velocity, vertical component of velocity right in the beginning itself. So then it will anyway lose contact. But if you are giving velocity in some other direction, let us say downwards, okay, in that situation the scenario would be different, because in that situation like this point A will have a downward velocity, because you are giving it a velocity this way. So obviously a normal force will definitely develop. Ideally what will happen is when you give it a velocity this way, A will try to move down, right? A will try to move down because when you are giving it some impulse in the y direction or at an angle such a way that there is a y component also, then it will tend to move down. So obviously normal force will prevent it from moving. Right? So normal force has to develop in that case and it won't lose contact right away. Okay.
Sir?
Yes.
Sir, when we are solving it in reference frame of A, what will be the other equation, sir? One equation is balancing forces at B.
When you are solving in the reference frame of A. Okay, I'll just show you the equation in reference frame of A. What we can do. Okay, so here I'll consider like this. The tension force acting this way, mg downwards, okay, on A. Okay, so I'll assume that A is having an acceleration upwards. It should be upwards only, right? Otherwise it won't lose contact. Right?
Yes, sir.
Either it should be 0 or it should be upwards. So I'll assume it is acting upwards, acceleration is upwards for us. And the tension on B also will act this way. Mg will be downwards. So these are the forces which are in. And I should now consider that if I write one force equation for A, I will get mg minus P minus mg equal to mv. This is one force equation for A. T minus mg equal to m into A. Okay. Now let us consider one force equation for B in the reference frame of A. In the frame of A, we can say that pseudo force should be acting downwards. Pseudo force on B should be acting downwards. Okay, so therefore we will get, but we know very well that in the frame of A, B has a velocity V0 and B is undergoing a circular motion. B is undergoing circular motion, and we can therefore say that centripetal acceleration should be equal to V0 square by. This is centripetal acceleration in the reference frame of A. Okay, so the force equation for B will be tension, mg, and pseudo force. All three we should take. So tension plus mg plus Fp should be equal to m into AC. I'm taking m into AC. This AC is centripetal acceleration in the reference frame of A. It is not centripetal acceleration in down reference frame. So this should be m v0 square. So you get P plus mg, and one more mg you will get. Okay. Or here we can take ma equal to m. Okay, and you can replace T. In fact, you can replace T with this. T you can write as mg plus ma and substitute here. So you get mg plus ma plus mg plus equal to m. Okay, I'm substituting T here. I'm getting this way. Clear? Right? So now you can write 2 ma. Okay, 2 ma. That should be equal to, or 2 ma plus 2 mg should be equal to m v0 square by L. Okay. So you can also say that m into A should be equal to m v0 square by L minus 2 mg. Okay, by. Okay. What is the condition for losing contact? For A to lose contact? The simple condition that I told you earlier was acceleration of A should be greater than or equal to 0. It should be either 0 or positive, or it should be upwards. So therefore, this quantity should be greater than or equal to 0. A is greater than or equal to 0. So which means v0 square by L minus 2g. So this is the condition we got earlier. L should be less than v0 square by. Is it clear?
Sir?
Yes.
Sir, in the first place, when you were solving like without taking the reference frame of A, you wrote omega equal to V0 by L, sir.
Yes.
Sir, so like for that rotation, like what do we consider as the center of rotation for that one, sir?
No, see, like in rotation mechanics, once earlier also I told you that whenever you have any body which is undergoing rotation, translation, or combined rotation and translation, however it may be, if I take any 2 points on that body, angular velocity of B with respect to A, if it is omega, then angular velocity of A with respect to B also will be omega.
Yes, sir.
Or angular velocity of A with respect to any other point also will be omega. Okay.
Yes, sir.
So you take any 2 points on the body, on the rigid body, angular velocity of one point with respect to other point will be same as angular velocity of that point with respect to any other point.
Yes.
And that will be same as angular velocity of the rigid.
Okay.
Okay. So if you want to, you can consider that this is the center. Just consider this point as the center, and you will find that all the other points in the rigid body will undergo circular motion with respect to this point with same angular velocity of.
Yes.
Right? And you can take some other point also if you want. All the points on the rigid body will undergo circular motion with same angular velocity. Okay. This we can say for a rigid body. Right?
Yes, sir.
However, this is not true for a non-rigid body, but for a rigid body, it means. Okay. So I'm just considering this also to be like a rigid system. So that's why angular velocity rigid body, what we'll find velocity of B with respect to A in the direction perpendicular to AB and then divide by AB. So therefore, angular perpendicular direction divided by, and that will give you V naught by ln in this case, because this point has zero velocity. So velocity of this point with respect to A will be therefore V naught by ln. Okay. So is it out clear?
Sir, in the second case, when we were writing, like in the first case, we wrote that acceleration of A is equal to acceleration of A with respect to center plus acceleration of center, no, sir,
Yes, yes.
in the air. And
Yeah, in the air. In the air, yes.
now if we have like the rigid body on the ground, sir, like the center will not experience normal force, sir.
The center will not experience normal. See, like here, we are considering the situation after the impulse has been provided. Just after, immediately after the impulse has been provided.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so immediately after the impulse has been provided, it is in a small time, small amount of time, it has been imparted a velocity. Soon after that, if you see, right, normal force will develop if the center of mass has a tendency to move down, or if it has a tendency to accelerate downwards, or if the point A has a tendency to accelerate. Okay, so point A's tendency to accelerate downward would not be there if for the condition that I've showed you.
Yes,
If it has tendency to accelerate upwards, then normal force would not.
okay. Understood.
Is it clear? Okay, so here we have the next question. A block is placed on an inclined plane, wide inclined plane, which makes an angle theta with the horizontal. Coefficient of kinetic friction is mu, and it is given that mu is greater than tan theta. Okay, so a quick push is given to the block, or a sudden impulse is given to the block, and it is given a velocity v naught, like that makes an angle phi with the line of fastest descent. Okay, so the body is given a velocity v naught, which makes an angle phi with the line of fastest descent. I think line of fastest descent I told you once earlier also. So I think the same we are considering here. So you have to find the amount of time for which the body remains in motion. The amount of time for which the body remains in motion.
Is the inclined plane fixed, sir?
Yes, it's a fixed inclined plane. Angle of inclination is given to be theta.
So we can write the expressions for dB by change in tangential velocity and the change in vertical velocity with time. So
Okay.
then in both in the we'll get dvy by dt as g sine theta minus mu mg cos theta cos alpha, where alpha is the angle at any general times.
Okay.
And then change in the speed is equal to g sine theta cos alpha minus mu mg cos theta.
Okay.
We can eliminate cos alpha and then integrate, and then we can find the time of motion.
Okay.
Sir?
Yes.
Sir, can we split the acceleration of the body in two directions, that is like parallel to incline and perpendicular to incline, and then proceed, sir?
Parallel to incline and perpendicular to incline. Perpendicular to
Yes.
incline means is it normal to the incline or like how?
Yes, sir, in normal direction, like we can split g as g sin theta and g cos theta and then proceed, sir.
Yeah, g sin theta and along the normal it will be g cos theta. Along the incline it should be g sin theta.
Yes, sir, and
Along
then
the
like,
incline means along the line of fastest descent it will be g sin theta.
yes, sir, yes, sir. Sir, and then velocity also, like since it makes an angle phi with that line, sir, like we can split velocity also along the line of fastest descent and perpendicular to it, no, sir.
Yes, yes, along the line of fastest descent and perpendicular line of fastest descent.
So, like, can we proceed in that way, sir? Then.
Yes, yes, yes.
Okay.
So here, like suppose this is the inclined plane, like we are considering. So it is given in the problem that particle has been, the mass has been given a velocity v naught at an angle phi. So the inclined plane is making angle theta with the horizontal. But this line, the dotted line that you can see in the diagram, that shows the line of fastest descent. Okay, which makes an angle of theta with the horizontal. The line of fastest descent also makes an angle theta with the horizontal. Okay, but the particle is given a velocity in the plane only, in the inclined plane only, but it is given a velocity at an angle phi with the line of fastest descent. So it is something like this. So here you can see that your mg sin theta force should act like this. It should act along this line, and mg cos theta will act into the plane, normal to the plane. Okay, and since the mass moves like this, the friction force will act. Friction force will act in the opposite direction, which will be equal to the value of friction force will be mu mg cos theta. Okay, so these are some like simple things which we can like look at first. Okay, so for having a better like way of looking at things, I'm redrawing the diagram. I am taking the top view of this inclined plane. So if you're seeing the top view of the inclined plane, so the inclined plane will look suppose like this, and the particle starts from here, moving this way. At an angle. So this way, mg sin theta will be there, and this will be mg or cos mu mg cos theta. Okay. So here, in general, like we can say that at a general time, if I consider, at some general point of time, as the particle moves like this, as it keeps moving this way, let's say it moves this way. At some point of time, it is over here with the speed v. Okay, and it has this angle is some alpha. So this is alpha. Okay, so after some time, let us suppose that the speed of the particle or velocity of the particle makes an angle alpha with the line of fastest descent. Okay, it makes an angle alpha with the line of fastest descent. Okay, so here now you can see, you can consider this line of fastest descent as like your x-axis, and this is the y-axis. I'm taking x and y-axis for convenience sake. I'm taking it in the plane of the inclined plane only. X-axis is down the incline along the line of fastest descent, and y-axis is perpendicular to line of fastest descent. Okay, so your mg sin theta force is acting along x direction. So here you can say that acceleration along the incline, if I consider acceleration in x direction, that you can consider as mg sin theta, and friction will act like this.
Mu mg cos theta cos alpha.
Mu mg. Friction's component I should take along this x-axis, so that should be f cos alpha. So it should be minus mu mg cos theta cos alpha.
And cos alpha is vx by v.
Cos alpha is
Vx by v.
bx by
V.
v.
Is
Velocity in x direction by
total velocity.
yeah. Cos alpha you can consider as vx by v. Okay, anyway, like we will leave it at this like for the time being. Ax we can consider this way. And of course we can write down one expression for ay also if you want to, because ay will be the component of acceleration like in this y direction. So that will be because of friction. Okay, so friction's component we have to take. So acceleration in y direction will be equal to mu mg cos theta. So by m you will get there. Then we'll go off. Okay. So it will be mu g cos theta into sin. That will be acceleration in y direction. And another thing we can also do in this, like acceleration ax, we can write as dvx by dvx by dt. So like this is same as this expression ax is dvx by dt. So we can write dvx is equal to integration of g sin theta minus mu g cos theta cos alpha into d. Okay, so integration of dvx we can do. Integration of dvx has to be done. Now let us consider that after some time the mass comes to rest, and by the time it comes to rest, its velocity in x direction also should become 0. Okay, so therefore here we can take limits as initial value of vx will be nothing but v naught cos phi, because initially the particle was making an angle of phi with the x-axis. So initial x component of velocity must be v naught cos phi. So limits we can take v naught cos to 0. Okay, and then we have this. Okay, so we'll leave this as one equation. Okay, we'll not do anything to this further now, because even if you try to do something with this equation, you won't be able to. Because the problem is alpha is a variable, and alpha, we don't know how alpha varies with time. So therefore, like integration of this expression will not be possible. So we will leave this like for the time being. We'll try to get some other equation, and then we can maybe eliminate some unknown quantities. Okay. So what we can next do is you can consider what is tangential acceleration of this particle.
Yes, sir.
The tangential acceleration of this particle will be because of tangential force. Now, friction is obviously a tangential force. Friction acts tangentially only. And mg sin theta also will have a component along tangential direction. So I can say tangential acceleration at, which is nothing but dv by dt. Tangential acceleration is nothing but rate of change of speed, dv by dt. So that dv by dt can be written as it is mg sin theta cos alpha minus mu mg cos by m. Okay, so that is tangential acceleration. Right. So this quantity will be negative, or like if it is negative, sooner or later it may come out to be negative, and so because of which the body initially, although initially it is having velocity, it eventually stops. Okay, so this is one relation. So you can integrate this also. You can write dv, integral dv is equal to integration of g sin theta cos alpha minus mu g cos theta. And in this integration, we can take limits from 0 to t. Here also limits are 0 to t only. And here we can take limits as such a way that final velocity should be 0 and initial velocity is v naught. So limit should be v naught. So this is the second. Okay. Okay, so we'll now work with these two equations. If you simplify these two equations further, you can also write integration of dvx will be vx, and you substitute limits, you will get minus v naught cos. So minus v naught cos phi, and right hand side's integration you can write that as g sin theta into t. G sin theta into t, because g sin theta is a constant. So g sin theta into t will be integration of g sin theta dt. And the second term which we have here, we can write that as mu g cos theta. Okay, mu g cos theta into integration of cos alpha from 0 to. Now I cannot do anything further with this. Integration of cos alpha dt I cannot do anything further with, because alpha is alpha, we don't know how it depends on time. Okay. So second equation also we can further simplify it. Integration of dv here, that will be minus v naught. And integration of this quantity, here g sin theta cos alpha is not a constant, but mu g cos theta is a constant. So mu g cos theta integration will be mu g cos theta into t. So you can write this as g sin theta into integration of cos alpha dt. Integration of cos alpha dt minus mu g cos theta into t. So this is the other equation. So this is 1 and this is 2. Okay. So in both of these equations, this quantity we can eliminate. Integration of cos alpha dt here and integration of cos alpha dt in both the equations, we can eliminate both of them. Okay. And then using that we can find out unknown quantity, that is 50. Okay. So for that we can just multiply both the equations by suitable quantities to eliminate it, and then subtract both the equations. Okay, so here we can see that if you multiply, we have mu g cos theta here and we have g sin theta over here. Okay, so if you multiply like both the equations, this equation with the sin theta and this equation with mu cos theta, I think then we can subtract. Okay, or then we can add. Okay, so we'll get minus v naught cos phi into, and if you multiply this, like you will get, I think, sin theta. Okay, sin theta will come. Right, and then that is equal to g sin theta, g sin square theta into t, because you're multiplying this first equation with sin theta. So then this is going to be mu g sin theta cos theta into integral cos alpha. And the second equation will become, this is the first equation, the second equation will become, we are multiplying the second equation with mu cos theta. Okay, so it becomes mu v naught cos theta equal to, this is going to be g mu g sin theta cos theta into integration of cos alpha. And then we have minus, and because the second equation we are multiplying with mu cos theta, so it should become mu square g cos square. And then adding both the equations, we can eliminate this unknown quantity. Okay, so here also we get minus. So adding both equations, we will get minus of v naught cos phi sin theta plus mu v naught cos theta. Okay, that is equal to, and here we have like adding these two terms, both are t terms only. It's t into it will be g sin square theta minus mu square g cos. So we'll get t. Okay, from this. Right. Is it? So here, one thing actually I forgot to mention. Like in the question, it was mentioned that initial velocity v naught makes an angle phi with the line of fastest descent. Okay, and we took the incline like this, and we considered that the particle is moving like this at an angle phi like this. But like it's also possible that the particle may have been given a velocity sphere at an angle phi. Even then also the approach like for solving would be the same only. Right? Only thing is like final answer may not be the same. You will get some differences in the terms that you're getting here. Okay. In this case, however, we considered that the initial velocity was downwards. Okay, it was making an angle of phi with the downward line of fastest descent. Right?
Sir, why will the answer be different? It should be same.
Yes, the answer could come out to be slightly different. Like you can actually check once. Okay.
Yes.
Probably like I think instead of plus you may get a minus over.
Yes, sir. Yes. That because the velocity direction is reversed in along g sin.
Yeah, because friction direction also will be opposite to velocity. No?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, so here next question is Okay, so we have a frictionless horizontal surface. A block of mass m is placed on the surface. So an inextensible string of length L is there, which has one of its end is attached to the block, and other end starts moving vertically upwards with a constant velocity v. Okay, the string is just taut when the other end has started moving from the horizontal surface. That means the other end just starts moving from the same level as the block. Okay, with a constant velocity v naught vertically upwards. Okay, so when the string makes an angle of theta equal to 60 degrees with the horizontal, okay, it's given that the block loses contact with the floor. The block loses contact with the surface when theta becomes 60 degrees. So we have to find the magnitude of v naught.
Sir,
Yes.
so in the previous problem, sir,
Yeah.
the incline question, like
Yeah.
you gave that problem once in class, sir. And that time we did in a different way, sir. Like what we did was we wrote force equation along the velocity and perpendicular to velocity, sir.
Okay.
Perpendicular to the velocity, the acceleration will be r alpha, no, sir. Alpha we can write as omega d omega by d alpha. Sir?
I think what you are actually talking about is some other question, not exactly the same question.
Sir?
We might have done some questions somewhat similar to this question, but where we did in a slightly different approach. And what was asked, in that question also is probably different.
Sir?
Yes.
Hello, sir.
Yes.
Sir, so perpendicular to velocity, we can write the acceleration as, along the velocity, we can write the acceleration as omega square r.
No, along the velocity, it's not omega square r. Along the velocity, it is tangential acceleration. Tangential acceleration is not omega square r.
Along the velocity, it should be centripetal, no, sir.
Along the velocity, it should be tangential acceleration.
Okay. So one will be omega square and the other will be omega d omega by d theta, no, sir. D alpha.
No. See, there are two accelerations. One is tangential and another is normal acceleration. Tangential acceleration will be dv by dt.
Okay.
Okay.
Yes.
And normal acceleration is same as centripetal acceleration. That normal acceleration will be v omega. V into omega. V into d theta by dt.
Okay, sir.
Okay.
Oh.
Sir, is the answer something like under root of GL by 2 root 3?
Under root of GL by
2 root 3.
2 root 3. What is the approach?
Sir, in the reference, like first I found out the velocity of block at that instant theta, sir.
Okay.
That we can find because velocity of length of the string should not change, so that constant we can use. It will come out v naught tan theta.
Okay.
Now, in the reference frame of that point, the mass is undergoing circular motion only.
Okay.
So, okay, I made a mistake there. But from there we can find one relation in tension.
Yeah, but you can do that because that point is anyway moving with constant velocity, no? So like you don't need to consider any pseudo force and all that. So
yes,
circular motion you can use.
Yes. So mv naught. So net velocity will be mv naught square secant square theta. By L is like the
Net velocity means net velocity of what?
of the block in the reference frame of the points.
Okay, in the reference frame of point, you're finding what is velocity.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Now,
So take the velocity of that block in
yes,
the
sir,
perpendicular
but
direction.
because this
Zero
yes, sir,
perpendicular
yes,
to the string, whatever velocity you get, that you can use to find what is centripetal acceleration.
yes, sir, and that we can equate to, like, we'll get one first equation from there,
Okay.
and another equation we can use is T sin theta equal to mg.
The component of tension, vertical component.
Yes, sir. Okay. I made a mistake probably in that centripetal equations. I'll check one.
Okay. Okay.
So we can write the x as L cos theta and y as L sin theta.
X as L cos theta, y as L sin theta.
And then we can differentiate the y component and the x component twice. So then we can find d theta by dt, and then we can find x component of acceleration also.
Okay.
Then t cos theta we can write as max, and t sin theta we can write as mg.
D cos theta equal to MAS.
Max, like x component of acceleration is t cos theta,
Oh yeah. X
and t
component of
sin theta is
acceleration of
mg
T sin theta equal to mg.
at
Yeah.
breaking point. So that we can find v max.
Yeah. But how do you get the x?
Like the x component is L cos theta, we can differentiate twice, sir.
Okay, you will differentiate twice and find.
Yes, sir. And then the d theta by dt and d square theta by dt square we can find by differentiating y component. Y.
Okay.
Yes, sir. We'll get something like root GL by sin theta into cos square theta.
Okay, so here we have this kind of setup. Okay, so this end is being moved up with constant velocity v0, and as this end moves up vertically, so this mass will be moving this way. Okay, so suppose the velocity of this mass is v. Va is the velocity of this mass at some general angle theta. Although it is given in the question that it loses contact when angle theta becomes 60. Okay, so at some point of time, if I take velocity as Va here, one thing is we can find velocity relation between we can find the relation between velocity of this mass and this point. Okay, by using constant relation, because in fact we can say that this is 90 minus theta. So component of this V0 along this string and component of Va along the string should be equal, because along the string there is no relative motion. So component of V0 along the string and component of Va along the string should be equal. So if we equate them, we'll get a relation between the velocities, which means Va cos theta should be equal to V0 sin theta. Okay, so Va will be V0 tan. Okay, so velocity of block A with respect to ground we will get in terms of theta, and here V0 is constant. Okay, so if you differentiate Va again, you get acceleration of A. We'll do that. We can find acceleration of A also, because ultimately we want to find when it loses contact. So like that will be when tension's vertical component becomes equal to mg. When tension's vertical component becomes equal to mg, or it balances mg completely, then it will just be able to lose contact. Okay, so we want to somehow relate tension force also in this. Okay, so definitely better to bring acceleration also into the picture, because then you will be able to use force equations to relate force of tension with acceleration. Okay, so that's why what we'll do is we'll differentiate this, we'll get acceleration of A, which will be equal to V0 secant squared
d theta by dt.
Okay, and one more thing you can also do is, suppose this distance is y, then we can write y is equal to suppose length of this string
L
is
sin theta.
It will be L sin theta.
Sin theta.
So if you differentiate y, you get dy by dt, which is equal to L cos theta into d theta. Okay, but dy by dt is nothing but the velocity of this point, velocity with which this point is moving up. So that should be nothing but v0. Okay, so we can say v0 by L cos theta equal to d theta. Okay, so that we can put in this equation. So acceleration of A will be v0 secant squared into d theta by dt. D theta by dt is v0 by L. So this is v0 square by L into secant. Okay, so acceleration of A we are able to find. Okay, next what we will do is like we will write one force equation for this mass, like tension's vertical component and tension's horizontal component will be responsible for acceleration. Tension's horizontal component is T cos theta. So T cos theta should be equal to M into A. Okay, T cos theta should be equal to M into A.
T cos theta minus mg, no sir.
We can say T equal to M into A. A is V0 square by L secant q theta by cos.
So T cos theta minus.
No,
Yes.
this is only correct.
That's correct. T cos theta, there's no other force. I'm not taking vertical equation.
Yes,
Horizontal
yes, sir.
Right? T cos theta
Ah,
equal
yes,
to
sir.
M into
Got confused, sir.
A, and T equal to M V0 square by L secant q theta by cos. So this is same as M V0 square by L secant cos. Okay, that is T. Now tension's vertical component T sin theta, that should be just equal to M. So for using like we can say that T sin theta like should be equal to mg when theta equal to 60. When theta becomes equal to 60, T sin theta should be equal to M. So I'll put T which we get here, which is M V0 square by L secant 4 theta sin theta equal to mg. Okay, So then we can substitute the value of theta. Theta is 60 in this. So we want to find what is the value of V naught. What should be this value of V naught, velocity V naught, so that it will lose contact at 60 degrees only. Okay, not at any other angle. Okay, so then we will get like V naught square is equal to GL by secant 4 theta. Okay. Substituting theta equal to 60 in this thing, so I think it will come out to be 1 by 2 you will get here, and sin theta will be root 3 by 2. Right? So I think it would come out to be 8. Yeah, 8 root 3. GL by 8 root 3, I think. GL by 8 root 3. Right? So that was what we wanted to find, like velocity of that point, velocity of the point, like which is moving vertically upwards, the constant velocity with which the end of the string should be moved. So that we have found out here. So that it will lose contact, the block will lose contact when angle theta becomes 60. Okay. Is it here?
Sir, even when we are taking in the reference frame of point and those two equations are also giving the same result.
Yes, yes. When you're taking in the reference frame of point, this point, no?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Then you can say that this mass is undergoing circular motion with respect to that point, and the resultant force acting on this mass towards along the string, we can equate to mass into centripetal acceleration.
Yes, sir, like that also.
Yeah. So I'll just show you like what we get in that case. Okay. So here, as we already got VA equal to V naught tan theta. This is something which we already have. VA equal to V naught tan theta. Okay. So if I take A as a reference, A reference. Okay. A is moving with constant velocity, so therefore it's an inertial reference. Right. Now I should find what is velocity of B with respect to A. Velocity of B with respect to A could be something like this. Okay. Velocity of B with respect to A, because velocity of B with respect to A along the string will be 0. Perpendicular to string, we can find that will be like we can take component of VA, and we can take component of B velocity and component of this A velocity, both perpendicular to the string, and add. That will be relative velocity. Right?
We not secant theta. It will come.
We not secant theta. We not secant theta.
So here we'll get VA's component will be VA sin theta.
Tan
VA
theta.
sin theta plus VB. So here we want to take component of this VB along this. That will be
Cos theta.
Or VB means V naught cos. Okay. So VA sin theta plus V naught cos. So that will be velocity of B with respect to A. Okay. Or to avoid confusion, I think let us write it as velocity of A with respect to B. Okay. A with respect to B, and this is A.
It won't matter as anyways we are taking V square on this. We are interested in magnitude.
Yes.
We are anyways interested in perpendicular magnitude only now. So
Yes, magnitude only. But thing is that here VA is like we have taken this as VA, right? So
yes,
and
sir.
J and B, it is like leading to confusion. So that's the reason I changed it. Right? So it's anyway VA sin theta plus V naught cos theta. But VA we already know is V naught tan. So it is V naught tan theta. Thank you. Plus cos theta. Okay. So V naught tan theta sin theta plus cos theta. That should be relative velocity. That should be velocity with respect to B. Right? So centripetal acceleration will be centripetal acceleration of A with respect to B. That will be nothing but this square of this by N. That will be V naught square by
secant
N
theta on this.
into this tan theta sin theta plus cos. Okay, I think it will come out to be secant theta.
Yes, sir. Even that thing will get
This whole thing is nothing but secant. Yeah.
Like the trigonometric part will also get squared, no, sir, because it is velocity.
Yes, it will be secant square theta.
Yes.
Right? Because this quantity otherwise actually is secant theta. No? So it will be secant square theta. So it will become V naught square by L into secant. Okay, because this trigonometric quantity basically comes out with secant. Okay, so centripetal acceleration of A with respect to B is V naught square by L into secant square theta. Okay, now we can write the force equation for A in the reference memo. The force equation will be tension is there and mg is acting this way. Mg's component I should take along the string. Okay, now what will be mg's component along?
Mg sin theta.
Mg sin theta, right? Mg sin theta will be this component, mg sin theta. So therefore I can say T minus mg sin theta. Okay, T minus mg sin theta. That should be equal to, there is no pseudo force here, so that should just be equal to m into s. Okay, AC means acceleration of C with respect to A with respect to B, which is nothing but m into V naught square by L secant. Okay, so this is one equation, because here I'm not taking any normal force into account. Normal force we are not taking into account over there. And another thing we will also be able to say is component of tension in the vertical direction should be equal to h. And so we can say T sin theta should be equal to. T sin theta equal to mg also we can use. So that I can use here. So it is T we can write as mg by sin. Because in vertical direction there is zero acceleration. Okay, normal force is not there, it is just having zero acceleration, it is about to lose. So T equal to mg by sin theta. That mg by sin theta, mg by sin theta minus mg sin theta equal to m V naught square by L. Okay, so this we can also write as mg into 1 minus sin square theta.
A has acceleration.
Yeah, A has acceleration. Yes. You are saying something? Okay, right. So this is what we got. So from this, I think we can simply say that mg into 1 minus the sin square theta by sin theta is equal to m V naught square by L secant square theta. This is same as cos square theta. You take this cos square theta onto the other side, it becomes secant 4 theta. So you will get then G is equal to V naught square by L, right, into secant 4 theta. That was a thing that we got earlier also. Okay, with the other method that we started.
Sir, I have a doubt.
Yes.
Sir, A has an acceleration of A has acceleration towards B, no sir, along the string with respect to B.
With respect to B, yes, A has an acceleration along the string. Yes.
Acceleration of B is 0, so doesn't it mean that acceleration of A with respect?
No, 0 is acceleration with respect to ground. Okay, so understand. See, suddenly I changed the reference. I was actually working with the B reference. I wrote these equations with B reference. Then this equation was written keeping ground reference. In ground reference, A has no acceleration.
But B has.
In the vertical direction, there is no acceleration for A.
B has no acceleration.
Yeah, B has no acceleration in any direction, but A has no acceleration. Because when it is about to lose contact, because this is all taken for at the instant theta equal to 60. Right? At the instant theta equal to 60.
Sir, can we? Acceleration of A with respect to B has a vertical component also.
Acceleration of A with respect to B has a vertical component. Yes. Acceleration. See, I am not equating. I'm not taking acceleration of A with respect to B and equating its vertical component to 0 here. So I think you're trying to get me wrong here. See, I'm not taking acceleration of B's acceleration of A with respect to B, and I'm not taking its component on the vertical and then equating it to 0. I am directly equating acceleration of A with respect to ground in the vertical direction to 0.
Isn't acceleration of A with respect to B same as acceleration of A, sir? Because B has
Acceleration
no
of A with respect to B, no,
acceleration.
acceleration of A with respect to B and acceleration of A with respect to C. In this reference frame, you can say that A will have an acceleration directed these two. Okay, it has a centripetal acceleration towards this point, about this point, as it is moving in like a circular path. But its acceleration with respect to because when it is about to lose contact, the tensions component, the tension force which is acting upwards on this, and mg which are acting, they have to balance it.
Okay.
But
Even in the reference frame of B, there
because
is
if
an
you just see in ground reference, if this mass is moving only along the horizontal and if it is not moving vertically upwards, then it means along vertical forces must be balanced.
Yes.
Sir, even in reference frame of B, A is moving along horizontal, no, sir, because it has an acceleration perpendicular to string also, no, sir. Mg cos theta is the force which
Yes,
is.
it has a tangential acceleration also.
Yes, sir.
In the reference frame of B, see what you are trying to say is that as A has an acceleration with respect to B along this, and so you are trying to take its component, and you are also correct in saying that acceleration of A with respect to B is also same as acceleration of A with respect to ground, because B is not accelerating.
Yes.
Right? Agreed. But the problem is that A has an acceleration with respect to B along the normal and also along the tangent.
Perpendicular to this. Yes.
Yes. You have to take, whenever you're taking components, you have to take the components of both of them along the vertical and angle.
Yes.
And when you do that, you get 0.
Yes.
Because if whether you see from ground reference or you see from B reference, the observations for as far as body A is concerned cannot be different, because body A is moving along the ground surface and it's a fact. Right? If it is not losing contact and if it is moving along the ground surface only, so that is not going to be different in both the references.
Yes.
Right? So both the different reference frames has to concur with it.
Yes. Thank you.
Okay, right. So for today session, we will close it here. We will continue in the next session.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.